The government has signed off on a temporary package of measures in response to rising fuel prices. The measures agreed by Cabinet this morning will see excise duty on diesel cut by 20 cent and by 15 cent on petrol until the end of May. The fuel allowance will be extended by 4 weeks. The Taoiseach insisted the approach was a balanced one and the government has to hold something back for now, given such global uncertainty. However, opposition parties have strongly criticised the measures, saying they don't go far enough.
Fuel prices have skyrocketed over the past few weeks, hitting drivers at the pumps, while home heating oil has jumped in price. The government initially resisted calls to aid households and businesses, but it has now relented.
Today, the government takes concrete actions to try and support households and support businesses facing rising fuel and energy costs. We know the pressure people are under. People are worried about how this conflict will impact their energy bills.
Excise on diesel will be cut by 20 cent from midnight. Petrol will drop by 15 cent, while green diesel will fall by 3 cent per litre. Another 2 cent levy on diesel and petrol will be set aside temporarily once legislation is passed. This will also apply to home heating oil. And the fuel allowance is being extended by 4 weeks. For hauliers, there is an increase in the diesel rebate scheme from 7.5 cent up to 12 cent per litre, backdated to January. The opposition has rounded on the announcement as being wholly inadequate.
Not alone is it stingy and mean and detached, above all else, it reveals your political priorities. And by God, it's not the working men and women of this country.
We welcome the cuts in excise. It's something that the Social Democrats have been calling for. However, what we would say is that they have done the bare minimum when it comes to supporting people, particularly those people who are most vulnerable and who are most struggling.
The government has said the reduced tax rates will be in place until the end of May and will then be reviewed. The government is selling this package as temporary and targeted help against a backdrop of volatility. But in the face of fluctuating prices, the coalition faces a political challenge when these cuts run out. Sandra Hurley, RTÉ News, Leinster House.
Well, let's get more on all of this now. We're joined by our political correspondent, Micheál Lehane from Leinster House, and also our consumer affairs correspondent, Angus Cox. Micheál, to you first. These measures announced today will provide some temporary relief for consumers, but how much relief for the government?
I think the government will remain under pressure tonight, particularly when this is going to be debated and voted on, the financial resolution that will give effect to the excise cuts around that area of home heating oil, the hundreds of thousands of homes that are getting very little from this. The opposition claiming they have been abandoned, government saying it has extended the fuel allowance, and when it comes to home heating oil, there isn't an awful lot that it can do. I suppose what is fairly illustrative today, though, are those comments from government repeatedly from the Taoiseach and the Taoiseach about holding something back, about having to keep their powder dry, all amidst such uncertainty globally that they may have to look at this again, perhaps in a more extensive way in the next winter period and in the budget. And I think that tells its own story, saying that they don't know what's around the corner. Even the fact that questions were asked at this morning's press conference about was there any possibility that fuel could be rationed. Now the government saying there isn't, and that's not being considered. The fact that questions like that are now on the agenda again speaks to that level of uncertainty. There is a message from government, though, about trying to find ways to ensure there is fuel efficiency and energy efficiency. The Transport Junior Minister, Sean Kenny, even advising motorists to drive slowly in order to save money.
And Angus Cox, we can see the prices there behind you for diesel and unleaded petrol. Some of those prices will be coming down. How soon will motorists feel the benefit?
Well, that's the hope, Sharon. Before the Iran war started, both diesel and petrol were averaging around €1.70 a litre at pumps. But since then, the price of oil has soared from $70 a barrel to above $100, and that's had a profound effect at the pumps, as we all know. Diesel up near €2.30 at the moment. petrol hovering around €2 a litre. But as you say, from tonight, those prices will drop back at somewhat. Diesel will see that VAT-inclusive excise duty of 20 cent a litre, 15 cent for petrol. And then you have that additional 2 cent levy that goes to the National Oil Reserves Agency. That's going to be paused for 2 months. So that will see an overall reduction of 22 cent a litre on diesel, 17 cent on petrol. And they'll be in place, as Sandra said, till the end of May. There's been a lot of debate as to how quickly motorists might benefit from all of this. The reductions kick in from midnight. So any fuel leaving depots from then will be cheaper. But from tomorrow, there'll be some service stations that will be still working off existing or old supplies, which they would have paid the higher excise rate on. So consumers might not be paying lower prices on all forecourts right away. For busier service stations, the old supply might work through in a matter of hours, and then you'll see the price reductions. But for smaller, less busy ones, it could take a little bit longer. And it's also worth remembering, Sharon, only 4 weeks ago, diesel per litre could be gotten for less than €1.70 per litre. So even with this government intervention, it's still likely to be above €2 a litre, and petrol, that's going to be higher than when all of this kicked off as well.
Consumer Affairs correspondent Angus Cox and political correspondent Micheál Lahan, thank you both.
Pakistan's Prime Minister has said his country is willing to host talks between the US and Iran aimed at ending the war in the Middle East. It comes a day after US President Donald Trump suggested negotiations were already taking place, a claim denied by Tehran. Across the region, fresh strikes were reported today, while Israel has announced plans to take control of a large section of southern Lebanon, targeting what it says are Hezbollah militants.
The political signals from Washington and Tehran on talks may be mixed, but on the ground and in the skies, the military messaging remains all too clear. Day 25 and the war in the Middle East continues apace, with Iranian missiles striking central parts of Israel, including Tel Aviv, where several people were reported to have been injured. In Iran too, emergency workers have been responding to fresh strikes. Here, a father and child were among those rescued from a bombed-out building in central Tehran. As speculation grows over potential talks to end the war, Pakistan today offered to host negotiations. However, political will remains far from certain, despite a claim from Donald Trump that talks were already underway. And Israel forging on with its own military objectives.
We are continuing to strike Iran with all force. Regarding Lebanon, Hezbollah made a grave mistake when attacking Israel as a proxy of the terror regime and will pay a heavy price.
For many civilians, however, the price is already too heavy. According to UNICEF, the equivalent of a classroom of children is either killed or injured every day in Lebanon. And today, Israel announced controversial plans to take control of a large section of the south of the country, in what would be a significant escalation of its campaign against what it claims are Hezbollah militants. Kate Varley, RTE News.
And our Washington correspondent Jackie Fox joins us now. And Jackie, what, if anything, do we know about these talks that Donald Trump says are underway? And if there are to be negotiations, what are the potential stumbling blocks?
Well, it appears, Tommy, that we're at the first stages of outreach here. What we know is that Egypt, Oman and Pakistan are trying to establish communication channels between Washington and Tehran. And Pakistan is really pushing to host both sides as soon as possible. But yes, there may be stumbling blocks here. We do have those mixed signals from the United States and from Iran, indications that Iran is willing to listen but not ready for full negotiations just yet. The White House said that the situation is fluid, but we had news this evening that the Pentagon is preparing to send around 3,000 extra troops to the Middle East. Questions mounting too about whether Israel and Saudi Arabia are on board here. A lot of scepticism from Israeli officials about the talks and whether Iran can meet demands when it comes to its nuclear program or missile capabilities. We saw the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu saying that the strikes will continue on Iran and Lebanon. A lot of reporting here in the United States today about Saudi Arabia and how it sees this operation as a historic opportunity to remake the region and hopes that there would be more efforts to further weaken the Iranian government. So Iran and Saudi Arabia could have some influence here on the United States. But time and time again, Tommy, the Trump administration has said that there is only one person that can declare an end to this war, and that is President Donald Trump.
All right, Jackie Fox in Washington. Thanks indeed.
Well, those measures announced today will see the price of diesel fall by a total of 20 cents a litre and petrol by a total of 15 cents a litre. We'll hear shortly from the Transport Minister, Darragh O'Brien. But first, our reporter Conor Hunt spoke to people at the pumps in Cabra in Dublin today about what they made of the government's measures.
Oh, well, that's an assist, and I welcome it, and it will help me, you know. But, I mean, it's still way up on what it previously was and what it should be.
It's just going through the roof. You know, you're shopping around, you're trying to get the best prices out there. The government are reducing it by 20 cents. Lord knows when that's going to actually kick in. It could take a couple of days for it to kick in. Not only with fuel, you know, the cost of shopping, the cost of insurance, the cost of everything. It's just gone through the roof.
So I'm filling up by a tenner. I'll fill up tomorrow when it goes down.
What about these measures will be in place until May? What do you make of that?
We'll see. I don't know what's going to happen. We'll just have to see. But I mean, they definitely have not done enough. Definitely have not.
Well, at least it's a help anyway. It is a help for people, yeah. But I don't think it's enough. Well, I mean, what more can they do really, I suppose?
It's not much of a consolation. It's gone up about 60 cents, to be honest, so it's not really doing much at all, you know.
And those measures will be in place until May.
So it could rise a lot before then as well. Everything's gone up except for the wages.
Well, let's get some reaction to that now. We're joined by the Minister for Transport, Darragh O'Brien. Thanks for coming in to speak to us on 6-1 this evening. Now, what the government has offered today, it's a short-term relief, primarily for people who use vehicles. What about everybody else who's struggling with fuel costs?
I'd say firstly, look, it is a significant intervention. It's been well thought out and we want to make sure it's effective, but that we retain flexibility, that this situation is changing not just daily, but by the hour. And I think thankfully, because we do have resources, financial resources in this country, because of the hard work of our people, that we're able to deploy those resources. And we have to do that in a sustainable way. So if you take, let's say, on fuel, including the additional levy that we've reduced, it's about 22 cents per litre from tomorrow on diesel, 17 cents on petrol. But there are other measures, like the extension of the fuel allowance is critically important. 470,000 households in this country receive direct support from the state towards their fuel and their home heating and indeed their electricity. So we're extending that. It's another €152 payment. So that's about a quarter of the households in the country. But we do need to retain flexibility because this situation is changing, is very volatile, and we need to make sure that the resources that we have are deployed in a correct way. Now, in relation to fuel, one of the things that I'm very acutely aware of is if we look at people who are working in the economy as well, look at the haulage sector, for example, that they're a critical part of our supply chain. So we had to bring forward measures that would, at the very least, soften the increases that they have felt, like the diesel rebate scheme. We've brought further changes in there that are significant. So the overall package, about 235 million. And I think if you compare that with our nearest neighbour, which their package that they've brought forward so far is on or about €60 million. So that is the scale of the intervention we're making right now.
But by and large, it only tackles transport. I know you mentioned the fuel allowance there, but what about homeowners who are looking at filling their tank with oil, mostly rural homeowners, and it's doubled in price, or the 300,000 people who are already in electricity arrears, no help for them?
Well, look, I'm acutely aware of those who are in electricity arrears, and that's why we need to continue to do things like retrofitting our homes. Like we've retrofitted over 250,000 homes under this government and the last. What does that do? It brings about permanent savings, makes homes warmer, healthier.
According to the SEAI, it doesn't really bring around permanent savings.
I think
in the
that was
report last week, they said people still spend the same amount.
No, well, I would disagree. And in the analysis that we have, I read the ESRI analysis. We've changed the grants, as you know, from early this year. I changed the grants to make them more accessible, particularly for middle-income families. We've 100% grants for low-income families as well through the Warmer Home Scheme. So this year we're targeting 74,000 homes to be upgraded. And how we're doing that is through the carbon tax. And the carbon tax is a really important measure that we can deliver permanent savings for people. And there's only one party in the Dáil that wants to scrap that.
And it's something you're wedded to also, isn't it, carbon tax?
Absolutely.
Because if you reduce that, that would help so many people.
No, I don't think it would, actually. I think what we've done is we've looked on the excise side, what we can do now in the short term over a 2-month period. We will continue to monitor that. And should the situation change, government retains the ability to be able to respond again. But we have to do it in a sustainable and affordable way. What's critically important in relation to the carbon tax is we use that for business grants to reduce energy costs for businesses, grants for households to permanently reduce their costs. Like, we're looking at savings about €1,100-1,200 per annum due to well retrofitted homes.
But on
and that's
the
something
energy
that we're going to continue
that
to do.
people are experiencing right now, I mean, we've heard recommendations like people should drive slower, they should work from home. I mean, is that something that you think people should be doing?
I think if you look at the last 2 crises that we've had, and God knows they're coming, thick and fast at the moment. We look at the outbreak of the war in Ukraine. A lot of people actually already changed their behaviours there around electricity use, around how they can save and secure energy themselves and reduce their bills. And people will do that. And we'll do that. We're not in a phase at this stage to be telling people what to do. Most people know that conservation of energy is a good thing to do, not just from a climate perspective, but
there are
from
some
your pocket.
people who can't. There are carers who need to plug in medical devices. Yeah. They're not helped out here if they don't get the fuel allowance. Workers have to go into work. They have to drive the cars. They will get some small support. But what do they do when they go home? Will there be more help for them?
Well, what I would say is that I think you saw from your Vox Pop there as well, I think people were fair in their response to it. This is an initial response. It will help. We're not going to be able to affray every cost increase. We're simply not going to be able to do that. But what we want to make sure is the most vulnerable are looked after, and that those who are in energy poverty, and particularly those who are in receipt of fuel allowances, like 470,000 homes is about a quarter of our households in the country receiving direct supports from government. We will continue to monitor this. We'll review it on a daily basis. This is a priority for this government, for me as Energy Minister and indeed Minister for Transport, and for the government. And I think by any fair assessment, if we look at the previous crises through COVID, through Ukraine and the outbreak of that war, is that what we did at the time was deliberate, was effective, and we did keep it under review as well. And I think by any fair assessment, the support and measures we brought forward then are deemed to have worked, and we will follow that same deliberate, well thought out approach in relation to supports for our people. And that's our priority, is to support our people, support our economy, and support the most vulnerable.
So watch this space for homeowners.
Well, we'll continue to monitor this. We have brought forward a significant package today that will help, but this government, people can be assured, will continue to help them through these very difficult times, which is an international event. It's obviously an international crisis, and we will do our level best to help people through it.
All right, Minister for Transport, Darragh O'Brien, thanks for coming in to speak to us this evening.